All right, let's dive into something pretty interesting today. We're going to talk about what it means to have a rare personality. And look, this might just be the key to understanding that feeling, you know the one, that so many of us have, but just can't quite put into words.
So, does this hit home for you at all? That feeling that you're just operating on a completely different wavelength? You're in a group, everyone's nodding along, but you're seeing all these hidden connections, picking up on these tiny little shifts in the mood that nobody else seems to get. Yeah, it can feel pretty lonely.
In that experience, well, it often leads to this really powerful sense of being an outsider. And I'm not talking about not having friends or literally being alone. It's a much deeper thing, right? An internal feeling that you're just fundamentally different even from the people you love the most.
But here's the thing. What if that feeling doesn't mean something's wrong with you? This is super important. It's not about being better or worse than anyone else. It's just about being built differently. Your internal wiring, your whole mental and emotional setup, it might just be designed for a completely different purpose.
So that brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today. There's this framework that can actually help make sense of all this. We're calling it the Rare Minds Architecture. Think of it as a way to finally put a name, a structure, to that feeling of being wired differently. Okay, so what is a rare personality? You can think of it like a specific psychological blueprint. It's really defined by this unique mix of three key things: how you process information, the depth of your emotions, and what you're really driven by in life. So let's break each of those down.
All right, first up, let's talk about the thinking part. For a lot of people with this kind of mind, thinking isn't just A, then B, then C. Nope, it's way more complex. It's kind of layered.
There's actually a term for this: complex cognitive processing. Basically, instead of thinking in a straight line, your mind is more like a web, right? It's seeing all the connections at once. Let's use an example. Say you're planning a trip. A linear thinker might be like, okay, first flights, then hotel, then car. But a layered thinker, you're doing all that, but you're also thinking about the weather that time of year, what cultural events are happening, maybe even how your friend's mood might change the vibe of the trip. It's not a checklist, it's a whole dynamic system.
And when you put these two side by side, the difference is huge. Look, linear thinking is great. It's super efficient for just getting things done. You focus on the next step, boom. But layered thinking, that's all about synthesis. It's about grabbing all those different pieces, the flights, the weather, the people, and weaving them into one big picture. So while someone else is asking, okay, what's next? You're over here asking, wait, how does all of this connect? Okay, let's move on to the second piece of this puzzle. This part is all about feeling deeply and seeking meaning. It's not just about how your brain works, but how your heart works and what really drives you.
This pretty much says it all. You don't just have feelings, you absorb them. For people wired this way, emotions aren't just these fleeting things. No, they've got weight, they've got texture. You don't just walk into a room and notice the mood, you feel it, like right in your bones.
This is what's known as high emotional attunement. It means you feel things with this incredible intensity. The highs are higher, the lows are lower. But the key thing here is that a lot of this happens on the inside. You might look calm on the surface, but internally you're processing and feeling everything. It's why you're the one who notices that tiny little hesitation in someone's voice, or why superficial small talk can just feel exhausting. You're built for depth.
And that need for depth, it leads us right to the final piece, something called self-transcendence. I know, it sounds a little academic, but all it really means is having this powerful, deep-down need for purpose. It's that little voice in your head that's always asking, okay, but why? What's the point? For you, that search for meaning might feel way more important than the usual stuff, like a big paycheck or climbing the social ladder. The why behind what you do is everything.
So, okay, when you take all these pieces, the layered thinking, the intense emotions, that drive for meaning, and you put them all together, you start to realize something really cool. This isn't just a random list of quirks. It's a design. It's an architecture.
And you can see how it all works together. Each part has a purpose, right? You think in layers so you can see the whole, big, messy picture. You feel deeply, not because you're too sensitive, but so you can actually understand the human experience. And you're always seeking meaning because that's what guides you. It's your compass. So I want to leave you with this. If you've ever felt like you just don't fit in, maybe it's because you weren't designed to. Maybe your mind was built for a totally different job, to see the layers, to feel the depth, and to find the meaning that most other people just walk right past. Your difference isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's your whole entire purpose.